Hey gents, it's Emersil here. Okay, so why am I posting this game? Well, you can see that myself and Lead Sled are divisioned up, and this was the culmination of, at least for me, a pretty rough night of World of Warships. And we've all had those nights where you play pretty good game, but the team you're on is just, well, it's just awful, and there's really no way to carry, no matter how hard you carry. So Ramagar and I had been playing, and we played several games, and it was just team after team after team of potatoes. Again, I know we've all been there. So, excuse me. So, the game before this one, it was myself, Lead Sled, and Ramagar. And it went badly enough that Ramagar said, "I've had enough," and he left. Now, I've been there, and I've done the same thing, so I'm not criticizing in any way. But that just all serves to illustrate the kind of night we were having. And I took a look just out of curiosity at the stats of some of the players on some of the teams. And it was just really kind of unbelievable, some of the stats, the people that were playing in Tier 7 and 8 matches. Anyhow, so this game. This is immediately following Ram saying, "I've had enough, I'm getting out of here, I'll see you guys tomorrow." Notice that, Lead Sled and I are actually on comms. We're both on Mumble. I think we were on Mumble. And we're talking. And we're talking right now about why does it look like all the guys that spawned south of D seem to be heading for us? And, what's that about? Now, we see Charles Martel looking like he's trying to position to be able to do something in D, but he and I, Lead Sled and I, were already discussing what's going on. We're seeing the Alaska has already crossed half the map. Lead Sled and I had decided, okay, well, we're going to help at Charlie in support of our Benson, who did not get in the cap here, which was a little bit frustrating, but, what are you going to do? And now we've got Jambar and Alabama. Jambar and Alabama they're south of the Charlie cap, and Delta is, other than Charles Martel, completely uncontested. I think at some point in the not too distant future in this game, I typed something like, "What are you guys doing?" or something like that. There you go. Why did all of you at sea cross? Because they all came to the sea cap. Well, Charles Martel, he's paying attention. He says I was all alone, and he was. I don't blame him for heading this way. Okay, so at this point, Lead Sled and I are talking about, all right, they're probably going to end up with D. We know Edinburgh is over there. So even without a DD there, they're going to be able to cap. They've already got the Charlie cap. So we are discussing, can we carry hard enough to make this happen? And that's when the CV caught me. Now I know here that I'm going to eat at least one or two of these torpedoes, but I really can't afford to push out there any farther, so I have to start slowing down. I've already thrown it in reverse, and I'm really just hoping to avoid the torps from the Benson. I know I'm going to take fire from those 3 battleships, and probably the Seattle, who is maneuvering to be able to fire over the island. And there's the Edinburgh, just like we expected. He's in that cap, and he's he's going to be taking fire, but you know that island that's over there, it provides perfect cover. Okay, so I'm targeted by 5 guys. I think I mentioned I'm targeted by 5. And as expected, Seattle got behind the island. He's hopping over it. Alright, so I'm just going to see what damage I can do to Amagi. I got a flat broadside. I think I get another fire here, yeah. So now it's just how fast can I, and there's my first citadel. How fast can I get behind this island and get these fires put out and start repairing? Well, I don't have a repair for another 37 seconds, but right now, he and I are talking about, alright, we're going to be taking fire from the flank over there at Delta here pretty soon. They got a Massachusetts pushing around. Eddie came down into the cap, and yeah, I'm taking fire from behind now. And our Martel, yeah, what was he going to do over there by himself? So now we got all these ships bunched up kind of right where I'm at and south. Oh, can I get him? Can I get him? That's all I'm thinking. He's got 12,900. Nope. I whacked him pretty good, but couldn't get him. Meanwhile, Lead Sled he's doing all he can to support our guys trying to take the Charlie cap. And you'll notice we're down on points. It's not a huge point deficit, but given the way the games had been going all night, we were talking about let's just do all we can. Let's just focus on one shot at a time, try to make every shot count. Cut the Vladivostok broadside. Wasn't what I was hoping for, but 6,000, I'll take it. Now we're 7 minutes in almost, and nobody's lost a ship yet. That's a pretty good game. Now at this point, we were starting to feel a little bit more optimistic. Yeah, we're being flanked, and we're really concerned about that, but we have 2 caps, they only have 1, and that means we're going to be catching up points-wise. Jean Bar knocks out their Lazo. Amagi's showing me more broadside. Now what am I doing here? I'm trying to reposition, because I don't imagine it's going to be too much longer, and I'm going to start taking heavy fire from my flank, so I want to get out of there. Now you'll see my hit points. I'm at 28,000. The Grossa has 73,000. As I recall, I think that was Lead Sled that whacked him. I'm still trying to get shots on that Seattle. Every time I've even looked his way, he goes dark. Now the enemy's back in the Delta cap. And we are being flanked, and we just lost our Martel. And to their credit, Alaska and Jean Bar have moved back. Flint is crossing to help. And he's, if I remember right, he's going to get our Benson, or their Benson here any second. We're down a ship. Now we're not. And we actually have almost 50 points lead at this point. All of this despite so many of our guys that started on the other side of the map crossing. Yeah, I've just finished off the Benson. Now if I push up here, I'm probably going to get crushed. So I'm going to have to show some broadside, which is a little bit scary. Now Lead Sled and I right now are talking about, okay, we've kind of got them on their heels. We should probably start pushing north and make our way to the Alpha Cap. And I'll point out that if I remember correctly, Leadsled was telling me that at one point, a few minutes back in the game, there were multiple friendlies that were ramming him and kind of making it difficult for him to move. So the game was not without potato. I had to slow down here, track the guns a little bit, and then try to get my nose back around so I could run north. And I was telling Leadsled, I'm going to go ahead and run right up through this channel following Sinup. Really, I was hoping to flank the Seattle, but Vladivostok is there. And I'm thinking, yeah, I could go ahead and make the shot here. I'm liable to lose some shells on the island. And I did. I lost about half of my shells on the island, but Citadel number 2. Okay, Seattle is beginning to sense some some danger. We're now up 2 ships. We've got a healthy lead, roughly 250 points. And DeGrosse is showing broadside. I was tempted to pull the trigger, but no, I just waited, make sure I have my lock. Sinup is pushing right into me. I'm trying to ask him not to do that. This thing is well, Bismarck is not exactly known for being maneuverable. So now I'm slowing down again to be able to make my way through here without ramming into the island. Why Sinup had to reverse there, I'll never know, but he did. And look at the other side of the map. They've got a pretty, I mean, that was a pretty hefty number of guns on that side that were pushing around, but our Flint and Cleveland are still there. Still doing all they can to hold them, and Seattle goes down thanks to a nice shot from Leadsled. Yay, Bismarck secondaries. And we're just going to work this guy over. He's angling, trying to, protect himself as best he can from the big shells, but this is the death of 1,000 cuts. And look at the shells. That's just nuts. Yeah, it was just raining on that guy. Okay, so now we're saying, all right, let's turn around. We gotta head back the other way. And in the meantime, let's get off a shot or 20 on the Kaga. There's Citadel number 3. That whacked him pretty good. I don't often get those juicy cap points when playing the Bismarck, but this was just that kind of game. Now their Kaga's a little focused on our Alabama. And goes down. He really needed to angle more. He stayed a little too broadside, and he really paid for that. Leadsled finished him off. And now, I believe my comment while we were playing was, "This is all over but the shouting," but I didn't say it. I probably should have, because it was. So we had a game that, at least initially, we were cringing, I think would be a good way to put it, when we watched all of our guys south of the Delta Cap head toward sea, with the exception of the Charles Martel. He stood his ground, and in fact, really hung in there. I mean, he did cross more center, but it made perfect sense given the fact that his battleship support had left. But our boys that crossed turned back around and did all they could, and it turned into a win. Thanks, Lead Sled, for the game. It was